You wouldn't build a house without a foundation, so don't build your business without one. This is Mindset Monday, where we lay out the tools, frameworks, and mindset you need to scale your contracting or trading business today. All right. Welcome back to Mindset Monday. I'm your host, Gerritt Bake, the founder of Build Pro, here with our good partners over at Contractor Plus. You guys know the drill. If you're here with us live, go ahead and drop your name and your business name, and we'll give you the good old shout out. While we're waiting for you guys to pop in, we got Ground Fog says hi. We actually got a couple of highs from him, which is good. While we're waiting for you guys to pop up, I'm going to share a funny little story. So this last weekend, I was in Arizona. And for those of you that have been in Arizona, you know there's two seasons. There's hot and there's not so hot. And I was in the middle of getting hot season, but I decided to go for a hike. Now, I used to live in Arizona, for those that don't know, in the Phoenix area, in the East Valley specifically. And there's a really big national park called Usery Mountain National Park, Usery Pass. Anyway, I don't know, National Park, State Park, nonetheless. And it's really cool. It's the desert and whatnot. And we went, I went hiking, and it was 4:00 in the afternoon, and it was 92 degrees. And it's not super hot, but it's kind of hot for the season, especially coming from Salt Lake where I was at. And I think the high at the time was 68 degrees. So it was a little bit of a jump. So I went hiking, and as I was coming back down, I was thinking about hiking and how interesting it is, because although there may or may not be a trail, you never actually follow the exact path twice. Well, there happened to be big boulders in the path that I was, kind of jumping over, moving from back and forth and whatnot. Then there was loose boulders I had to step through, but ultimately got to, this amazing view at the top of the mountain. It was pretty awesome. But I was thinking about this as I was coming back down, and I was like, man, it's kind of like in business, right? Like we have this general idea of where we want to go. We're just not really clear on what that path looks like sometimes. We're not sure if we're going to be climbing some boulders. We're not sure if we're going to be, sliding and slipping. We're not sure if we're going to have to go around a cactus or another obstacle. But that's ultimately what it is. And as I was thinking through this, by the way, the reason I was in Arizona was to visit with a couple of clients that we have down there. But as I was thinking through this, I realized that sometimes we make the path, right, more complicated than it needs to be. So the question becomes, how do we make the path less complicated? How do we make it more simple? How do we make it clear, cleaner, so on and so forth? And that, my friends, is what we're going after. So we've got a happy mindset money from Daniel with Noble Custom Glass and Mirror, checking in from good old Buford, Georgia. And then we've got Immortal somebody or other. Is this live? Yes, my friend. This is live. Daniel, funny story. Did you know that there's more Waffle Houses in Georgia than there are in any state in the U.S. by a large margin? Funny story. The only reason I know that is my oldest, who's in the Navy in Virginia, sent me this screenshot that showed all the different states with Waffle Houses. And the only one in red that would be above, I think, 200 was Georgia, more than Texas and everywhere else. So congratulations on that. Now, today is Monday. We are midway through April. Some of you are experiencing spring. Some of you are experiencing winter, like us again this year. It's supposed to snow on Thursday. Go figure. I don't get it. But ultimately, you're at this point right now where you're trying to figure out why my business is not growing at the rate that we want it to grow at. We're trying to figure out why we can't actually seem to get all the things done that need to get done. Perfect example, Friday, meeting with a client. They do about $7 million a year. They do kitchen and bath, and they do window and door. That's their two areas of business that they focus on. They're doing about $7 million a year, two owners. And we're sitting there, we're kind of digesting what happened in the first quarter of the year. And as we're walking through this, one of them, his name is George, turned and looked at me and goes, man, there's just too much to do. And he didn't say it laughing, and he didn't say it joking. He actually said it out of frustration. And I'm curious for you. This is a new feature we have here, by the way. I'm curious for you guys. They have this poll feature. So supposedly you guys can take a poll, and we're going to see if you can. Again, if you're here with us live, go ahead and drop your name and your business name. We'll give you a shout out. But I'd like to see, can you guys see this first of all? And if you can, take the poll. Do you believe today, right now, that your business is too complicated? Maybe not what you sell, but maybe how you sell it, or your hiring process, or your team, or whatever the thing is. Do you believe your business is too complicated? Now, as I'm waiting for hopefully some results to come through on this one, I want to share some further conversation. So we're sitting there with Nick, we're sitting there with George, and we're having this conversation. And the conversation is centering around this idea of business being too complicated. And I said, all right, time out. I said, why? Why do you feel that your business is too complicated? Okay. And it was interesting to hear them share their thoughts. Okay. So the first thing they said is too many jobs. The next thing they said was not enough people helping them out. The third thing they said was their books were still a mess, right? And they just kept going down the list, and this list just kept growing. And during the better part of the day, as we were kind of working through, their business, ultimately where they're at and where they want to go, there's a couple of themes that came up, and I want to share those themes with you guys. We've got Julie and Bert with Burton's Plumbing, Plumbers in Pink. She apparently hands yellow, heart red, whatever that means. I'm guessing it was a cool emoji. Thank you, Julie. So the question then becomes, why do we believe that our business is too complicated? And ultimately, what is it that we need to do to stop it from being so complicated? That's it, right? Now, I want you guys to think through, as I'm going through this, I want you to think about your business, okay? Not anyone else's. Who cares about anyone else's? Frankly, you shouldn't even care about mine. But why? Why so complicated? And I'm going to use my own commercial business as the example on this, okay? 3 things that you need to do to simplify your business model, okay? Whatever it is that you're doing, I guarantee you it can be simplified. Guarantee. In fact, if you want to take an example from anyone, look at Elon Musk. That guy is the king of there's too many steps. How do we simplify it? And you can see what he's done and continues to do. The first $1 trillion company. Stand by. So let's go through this. Okay. The first thing, it seems like no 2 jobs run exactly the same. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It doesn't matter if you're a plumber, you're an electrician, you're installing, glass, windows, doors, whatever it is that you're doing. It just seems like no 2 jobs run exactly the same. But that, my friends, is the problem and ultimately the opportunity. Every single job should run exactly the same. Now, it doesn't mean that you're not going to have issues and hiccups, okay? But the process itself should be the same. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, let's talk about it this way. Same stages, same checklists, same flows, right? If every project for you is custom, your business is always going to feel chaotic. It's always going to feel like you're trying to make decisions every single day, decisions that you shouldn't have to be making over and over and over again. In the first responder world, police, military, doctors, things like that, there's something called decision fatigue. Decision fatigue happens when there's too many things on your mind and you're having to make too many decisions. Eventually you get to the point where either you don't want to make decisions anymore or you can't. And we don't want you to get to that point. But if you keep running your business like, oh, here's a new job, therefore I have to start from scratch every single time, that's where you're going to end up. Okay. So simple rule, stages that you should have. Okay. As soon as you sell it, you have to prepare for the job. As soon as you prepare for the job, okay, then you have to build it. After you build it, there's some type of quality assurance check. You blue tape, you can call it whatever you want to call it. And then ultimately there's a closeout. Like that's it. And obviously we're talking production right now, but as soon as you sell a job, what happens? There's some preparation that has to happen for that job. As soon as you prepare, what happens? You have to actually do the job. whatever the job is, water heater, roof, whatever the thing is. Then after you do the job, you have to run back through and go, okay, did we miss anything? Or did we hit everything? Can I check all the boxes? And then ultimately the last piece is a closeout, right? Getting paid. So the most important thing for you to do is to look at what you're doing right now in your production process. Yes, it is a process, my friends. The most important thing for you to do is look at your production process right now and say, what can I standardize? In other words, make it part of the process that happens every single time. And what do I need to eliminate from that process that would allow me to make it the same every single time? Now, for some of you guys, it's you and maybe a couple of employees. Some of you guys might have 10, 20, 30 employees. Doesn't matter. The process is the process is the process. You got to follow it first, and then your people will follow it as well. So how do we do this? Well, very simple. Bring your team together. Again, if it's just you, great. If it's you and a few guys, awesome. Doesn't matter. Bring the team together and have everybody in the room talk through what happens at every stage. What you're going to find is that sometimes people will name things that they're doing that they shouldn't be doing. Sometimes you're going to find that people aren't doing things that they should be doing. Okay. Either way, your job is to define that process for them and yourself. Write it all out. Okay. And then make it accessible to whoever needs it. Right. I love to use water heaters as an example, but if you're constantly switching out water heaters, tank or tankless, okay, what are the 7 or 8 steps that are involved in that? That should be accessible either on a checklist, a printed out checklist, or on an iPad or on your phone, that every single person in your company that installs a water heater should do it exactly the same every single time. And that is the best way to get that to happen. Okay. So number one, make the process the same across the board. Okay. Number two, too many decisions. Hey boss, the truck's out of gas. What do you want me to do? Hey boss, we're short on materials. Do you want me to go to Home Depot? Hey boss, this is going to take a bit longer. Do you want us to stay? Hey boss, I'm going to be late. Hey boss, hey boss, hey boss, the curse of the hey boss, right? And this could be your field staff, your office staff, or both. But ultimately, every decision that has to happen in the business runs through YOU. Congratulations. You wanted another baby to take care of, didn't you? Listen, I was guilty just like you. When I first started, I've had a few different businesses, but when I've started all of my businesses, really, I was like, man, this has to happen through me. I need to know everything that's happening. People have to clear things through me. Like, it has to happen through me. Man, we talk about decision fatigue. I would get home. My wife's like, what do you want for dinner? I'm like, like, I don't want anything. Leave me alone. You want this or that? I don't want to choose. Like, just put a pile of slop in front of me. I'll eat it. Right? So ultimately, if you want to have more clarity, if you want to have more opportunities to make decisions on the business instead of in it, you have to stop making so many little decisions. The other problem with making all the decisions, guess who the bottleneck is? It's you. So you don't have to reinvent everything every single time. How you price jobs, where or how you pick up materials, how the jobs are run, how you communicate with clients, what change order looks like. Like, all of these things can be something that you can create and not have to deal with it again. If they ask you, and by they, we mean your people, about the same thing over and over and over again, and you sound like a broken record, congratulations. You don't have a business. You have an overpriced job, and you're basically babysitting adults. I don't know about you, but that's not what I signed up for. So I'll tell you what we did. Okay. So the first thing we did, this is where step 1 and step 2 come together. Okay. First thing we did is we said, okay, what is our process? What is the process that we want to have? An RFP, or request for proposal, or a bid opportunity comes in. What do? We do these 5 things. Great. After that, what do? We do this. What about next? We do this, right? And this was everything from vetting subs to getting the subs the opportunity to bid, to reminding the subs, to collecting the bids, to then formulating our bid, to then send off our bid, right? That entire process. we defined it. And then we went back through and said, how do we set this up so that we, my wife and I, have to make as few decisions as possible? Well, the first thing I did was remove myself. I don't need to be there. The second thing that we did is we said, okay, what are the decisions that my wife absolutely needs to make, right? And really, there was only one or two, and they were at the end, not at the beginning. We were able to get our estimator the framework for determining whether we were going to bid on jobs or not, the framework for how we wanted those estimates set up, sending out those opportunities for bid for the subs that we use. How do we remind them and ultimately get the bid back? What format does it need to be in? And then now she can make the decision. Are the numbers accurate? Are the margins where they need to be? Is everything set up right? Okay, now we can send it off. Okay, so example. And that's what I want you guys to start doing. It's not just about having a process in place. We don't want to make the process dependent on you. Now, the third thing, and this for me is the most important thing. Going back to what I was doing this weekend, I was down in Arizona with a couple of clients. Well, I have a company that's doing $7 million a year. Bless them. I love them. They're awesome. They're amazing. I said, how's the business doing? There's two ways to answer this, and I'm curious how you would answer it. But there's two ways to answer this. Way number one, it's a feeling or it's an emotion. Oh, we're doing all right. Oh, we're super busy. Oh, we're slammed. Oh, we're slow, right? It's a feeling. It's an emotion. Okay. Way number two, and I love when this happens, by the way, is they break open their laptop. They go to our business operating system platform. Okay. They go there and they pull up their numbers and they say, over the last 4 weeks, we've averaged X number of leads. We've converted out whatever percentage of those into estimates, and then whatever percentage into jobs. Our close rate has increased from 25 to 32%. Our average job value has increased from 22,000 to 28,000. Like in the weeds, data, numbers, specificity. It's a big word, I know, but being specific, okay? With data, we can do something. We can make decisions. We can make adjustments. We can push the gas pedal down on what we need to do more of. We can let off the gas on things we need to do less of. Okay. But without it, we're just guessing. We're just guessing. And I don't know about you, but I hate guessing in my business. I hate it. When someone wants numbers from me, they're going to get numbers. They're not going to get a ballpark. Like, listen, I know people are like, hey man, ballpark, what do you think this will run? I just tell them, I don't know. I'll get back to you. Like if I have all the requirements, right? So I ask for the requirements first, but I'm like, I'll get back to you because I don't ever want to paint myself in a corner. Right? Because I don't ever want to give a number that's not an accurate number, either too high or too low. So what is it that you need to know? You guessed it. You need to know your numbers. Okay. You're overwhelmed right now because you're guessing. You're guessing how much money is going to be in the bank account on Monday. You're guessing how much payroll is going to be on Friday. You're guessing how much you need to bid on the next job to make sure that there's money left over to pay the bills. You're guessing, you're guessing, you're guessing. Stop guessing. Stop guessing. This is not a hobby. This is a business. If you want to grow this business into something that can support you and your family and ultimately the families of your employees, you have to start tracking numbers. You don't have to track everything, okay? But you have to start tracking numbers. What do we track? We track leads. Why? Because without leads, everything else falls apart, okay? Leads. We track estimates or bids, right? We track your close rate. We track your average job amount. We track, we're changing the way we title it, revenue, but really we're talking about dollars sold. Okay. How many dollars you're selling in a week. We talk about jobs sold. Depending on how complicated your business model, we start looking at stuff about cash on hand or your AR, your AP. But simplicity's sake, those are the numbers that you need to start tracking. And this is not tracking once a quarter, every 6 months, or once a year. This is tracking every single week. You can pivot, you can make decisions way faster if you actually know your numbers. So here's the secret. Most contractors don't need more tools. Like, listen, I'm just like you. I'll go to Home Depot or I'll go to a show and I'll see like, ooh, that's fancy. That's pretty. Like I may or may not like the tools that are red and white and black. Just saying. But it's not about needing more tools. What you need is less chaos. Okay. Simplify the work, simplify the decisions, track the numbers, and everything will start to get easier. So that's my challenge for you guys this week. Quit making business and therefore life more complicated than it needs to be. Marketing is exactly the same. You guys get all up in arms with marketing. Marketing is super simple. Who do you want to work with? Where are they at, or who has access to them? And what message do you need to give them so that they want to work with you? That's it. That's it. People are like, hey, we don't see you advertise your business online. I'm like, because I don't need to. That's not where my people are. Right? Last Friday, I was out looking at a job that could potentially over the next 10 years, overall, not for me, but for the next 10 years, be worth $250 to $300 million. $30 million a year. There's probably conservatively, I don't know, quarter million for us. Like, I don't know about you guys. That's a pretty good opportunity. But I can tell you that didn't come from me posting on Facebook. It didn't come from me running a billboard on the freeway. It came from old school shaking hands, kissing babies. The people that I want to work with, though, that works. Okay. If I'm going after homeowners, that's not going to work. There's no way I'm going to get in front of enough homeowners to be able to shake hands, kiss babies, and land that many jobs. Okay. Anyway, you can see the point here. So my challenge for you guys this week is ask yourself the question, where am I making business more complicated than it needs to be? And what do I need to do to simplify it? That's it. And if you ask yourself that question every Monday, by every Friday, you'll have one new thing that's going to start to make your business more simple, more efficient, and ultimately more profitable. All right, you guys know what time it is. Less talk, more action. Time for you guys to get after it. 3, 2, 1, off you go.